Most people believe power comes from saying the right thing, explaining clearly, defending themselves, making sure they're understood. We think if we can just find the perfect words, we'll win the argument, close the deal, or gain respect. But in real life, power usually belongs to the person who says the least. There's this misconception that silence is weakness, that it means you have nothing to say, or that you've been defeated. I'm here to tell you that's wrong. Silence isn't weakness. It's leverage. It's one of the most misunderstood and underutilized tools in human interaction. Today, we're going to break down why the person who talks less often holds all the cards, and how you can start using silence to your advantage. From a very young age, we're taught that communication solves everything. It's drilled into us in school, in our families, and in our early careers. If there's tension in a friendship, you're told to explain your side. If there's conflict at work, you're encouraged to clarify your position. If there's a misunderstanding in a relationship, the advice is always to talk it through. And look, sometimes that's absolutely true. Open communication is essential for healthy relationships and collaboration. But we need to distinguish between communication for connection and communication in power dynamics. In a negotiation, a debate, or any situation where influence is at play, the rules change. Explanation often reduces your position instead of strengthening it. The moment you start over-explaining yourself, you subconsciously signal uncertainty. You're essentially saying, "Please, let me prove my worth to you." This neediness hands the power right over to the other person. You become the supplicant, and they become the judge. Let's dive deeper into why explaining so often backfires. Human beings are incredibly sophisticated social animals. We don't just listen to the words coming out of someone's mouth. We are constantly reading the subtext. We're analyzing body language, timing, emotional tone, and what's left unsaid. When someone explains too much, the subconscious message they're sending is, "I need you to understand me in order to feel secure." Or, "I'm not confident enough in my position to let it stand on its own." This creates an immediate imbalance. The person who's comfortable in their own authority doesn't feel the need to justify it constantly. Think about it. Real power doesn't chase understanding. It assumes it. When a CEO makes a decision, they don't typically follow it up with a 10-minute monologue defending their thought process to every single employee. The decision is made, and it stands. When you feel compelled to justify every action and every word, you are essentially seeking validation from the outside. You're asking for permission to be right. This makes you appear less confident, and therefore less powerful in the eyes of others. It's not about the logic of your explanation. It's about the emotional neediness that the act of over-explaining reveals. Now let's talk about the flip side, the incredible psychology of silence. Silence does something absolutely fascinating to the human mind. It creates a vacuum, a space, and nature, as we know, abhors a vacuum. In conversations, people feel an almost compulsive need to fill that empty space. When you stop talking, you invite the other person to project their own thoughts, anxieties, and assumptions into the void you've created. This is where the magic happens. When you speak less, you'll notice a few things. First, others start to fill the gap. They might reveal more information than they intended, trying to get a reaction from you. They become uncomfortable and start talking just to break the tension, often giving away valuable insights or leverage. Second, they begin to assign authority to you. Your silence is interpreted not as ignorance, but as thoughtfulness, confidence, and control. They start thinking, "This person is really considering their words. They must know something I don't." Third, they assume intention. Your quiet confidence makes them believe you have a plan, a hidden strategy. Silence forces other people to do the work to understand you. And in psychology, we know that the more effort someone invests in something, the more value they assign to it. When they have to work to figure you out, they subconsciously elevate your status. Think about this in real-world examples. Who are the people you respect the most? Are they the ones who are constantly talking, filling every second with noise, and frantically defending every point? Or are they the ones who listen intently, pause before they speak, and choose their words with precision? In high-stakes negotiations, the person who is most comfortable with silence often dictates the pace and outcome. When one side makes an offer, and the other side simply sits back and says nothing, the first side almost always starts to get nervous. They wonder if their offer was too low, and they often start negotiating against themselves, sweetening the deal before the other party has even said a word. In relationships, a well-timed pause can be far more effective than a long, angry speech. It communicates disappointment or seriousness without escalating the conflict. In leadership, the boss who listens more than they talk is often seen as wiser and more in command. Their words carry more weight because they aren't diluted by constant chatter. Remember, silence isn't passive. It's a deliberate, active choice. It's a tool for gathering information, managing emotions, and controlling the frame of the conversation. Of course, this doesn't mean you should never speak. That would be absurd. The goal isn't to become a mute statue. The goal is to speak with intention. Your words become exponentially more powerful when they are used strategically, not just to fill dead air. Words have the most impact when they are rare, when they are calm, and when they are not emotionally loaded. When you speak less, people lean in to listen more. Your words land with greater force because they are an event, not just part of the background noise. Think of it this way. Silence sets the frame for the picture. It creates the context and the tension. Your carefully chosen words are what finalize it. You use silence to draw out information, to create anticipation, and to establish your authority. Then, at the right moment, you speak. You deliver the key point, the final decision, or the one question that changes everything. It's about quality over quantity. One well-placed sentence can be more powerful than a 5-minute monologue. So here's the takeaway. The next time you feel that urge to rush in, to over-explain, to defend yourself, just pause. Take a breath. Get comfortable with that momentary silence. You'll be amazed at what happens. You'll find that when you stop desperately forcing clarity, people often start giving it to you. They'll reveal their motives, they'll show you their cards, and they'll often grant you the respect you are trying so hard to earn with words. Power isn't loud, it isn't frantic, and it isn't desperate. It's calm, it's deliberate, it's controlled. Master the art of saying less, and you'll find yourself holding more power than you ever thought possible.